I'm back. I'm back. That's right. I'm back. Yes, this is the Texas Torque Wrench. Shane Bedingfield. And I thought I'd start back up my wrestling podcast. This will be a little bit of a shorter version than normal. Anyway, I want to talk about that Conor McGregor thing. Yeah, I know, alert. Yep. He's made all kinds of people mad in the wrestling business. My deal is this. Everybody knows the UFC's to work. Ronda Rousey proves it to work. They gave her softer opponents so she could win. They did the same thing to Conor McGregor. Everybody knows he got soft guys. And then he couldn't beat the one guy that set out for basically a couple years, Nate Diaz. So it's all work. If it's on TV, it's a work. I'd kill to see Mean come back and just beat him. Mean could beat Conor McGregor at 60. Or how old the hell the old Mean is anyway. But anyway, with that being said, it's just the whole damn sports world's going nuts right now anyway. The whole Brock Lesnar deal. Was he, the whole blood doping thing, who knows? Yeah, I got a news flash for all you sports entertainers / UFC people. There's a deal called HGH BINAURAL, binaural tone. If you do it every day for 30 minutes, you get the same effects. I do it. It's not that damn hard. You just got to be disciplined about it. Some of you guys that have nothing but time and train, and that's your whole life. That's all you got to do right there. But anyway, I guess this past weekend was NWA Legends Week, and Bob Eaton came up missing in the Atlanta airport and all that, and I'm glad they found him. But it's getting to the point again. I know Shane O'Mac came back to WWE. Supposedly business is kicking up. But you know what? They're still right down to the exact same position they were in. I think they're bringing in P. Diddy Combs tonight for a special announcer. I think. I didn't confirm that. But anyway, so they're sort of going back to the stuff they were doing in 2010 and 11 to get the numbers back up again. But however, they're still trapped. They still got to have Cena somewhere near the top to get anything over. This whole Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton thing. It looks good on TV, but in reality, on a matchup like that, you're talking. Whenever I picture Brock Lesnar in a pro wrestling match, in my mind, the first thing I see is Nikita Koloff. For some reason or other, that always just pops in my mind, and they just cannot find a guy that's worthy enough, who doesn't have a crazy-ass gimmick, that's, dresses right as a pro wrestler, to put against him. I mean, if that was the case, if they're going to get all the money's worth they can out of him, they almost need to go to TNA and buy out Bob Lashley. But who knows? Who knows where this is headed? And it's just one of those deals. And I just think the whole wrestling business is crazy right now. I mentioned some people I know's name, and some of these new marks don't even know enough about pro wrestling history to be talking. It's like, there's a lot more better workers than would ever get mentioned on some of these Hall of Fame shows. Only the big names are just now getting where they're mentioning Brian Blair on some of the Hall of Fames. He was a killer worker. They're just now talking to Ronnie Garvin. He was a killer worker. those are the guys I got growing up. Ronnie Garvin, that image is still in my head. And you got people like RF Video and Kayfabe Commentaries who go around and, because it's their boys from ECW they want to talk to because they're from up north, so they'll go out there and talk to ECW personnel because they knew them, because they were actually dumb enough to go watch them pay money and kill themselves for peanuts. That's what it basically comes down to. I'm stealing that from the Honky Tonk Man. I know I'm plagiarizing Honky Tonk Man and Jim Cornette, but since plagiarizing people's in right now because the whole Ivanka, Melania Trump and Michelle Obama's fat ass, but that's just the way it is. It's just hard to. It's hard to explain what's going on in wrestling right now. And, I realize NWA legends just got done passing by. The old fat ass that I used to wrestle, old fat ass Chad Bird, he basically has to bang Baby Doll so he can get an invite to them NWA legends. I'm sorry, but that's almost coming across like prostitution. But, it is what it is. And and I know he did. I saw that he did a damn, which I respect George South, but I just don't respect some of his kids. But because some of his kids whine, and over here in West Texas, we sort of get taught not to whine. And I don't know if he was really under South or not, but Chad Bird, I hate even mentioning his damn name because it's almost like growing up, but anyway, I guess he gets to go with all the dang NWA legends deal because he's basically banging Baby Doll, but who knows? But well, good for him on that. I hope it's good, but when it comes right down to it, I just don't. I prefer not to be remembered for something like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you like my work, leave it at that. I mean, I told somebody 6 months ago that if it means getting booked that way, I don't want to get booked that way. So, in fact, I'm going to be talking to somebody connected to the Briscoes, a Ring of Honor, later today. But, however, I just don't understand the business at times. They need to be given credit to, the Youngbloods. Kayfabe Commentary wants to talk to everybody connected to ECW. I know I said it once, but I'm going to make sure you understand this. They talk to anybody that's done anything stupid with ECW. Okay, this is the truth about ECW. The best match was the first match of the night, from a pure wrestling standpoint. And possibly whenever Chris Candido and Lance Storm did their thing, But outside of that, that's about it. I hate to say it, but that's about it. And I realize you get caught up in these situations where you have to do so much to get noticed. And that was all of ECW's whole deal, was to go out there, kill each other for $20 a night. ECW actually set a bad precedence in the business that I felt in North Carolina whenever I was there. And I look back on that now, and I wish that we would have confiscated some promoter stuff or basically held him hostage on some stuff because we got trapped up in his crazy wife's crap. And really, when it came right down to it, which this is true to most indie wrestling federations, they're not here to draw money. They're here to massage your ego. And if it comes right down to massaging my ego or making money, I'm staying at home. I mean, it's just, because you're doing, when people do business that way, they're representing this business in the farthest thing. I mean, it's just not right. And the wrestling business, as soon as, the whole wrestling business needs to get ready, because as soon as Ricky Morton, and I hope he lives to be 90, but once Ricky Morton passes away, we're going to lose a big part of the business. And it's going to affect everything up and down the East Coast bad, and possibly out in the Mid-South, because the voice box for all the indie wrestlers is basically him and Robert and a couple others. But as far as the ones getting booked on a continual basis, when he passes, the whole wrestling business is going to feel it. And it could be enough for it to possibly kill it. And, like I say, I hope to God he lives to be 85 or 90. But, when he goes, a big chunk of the wrestling business is going with him, because he's done so much on the indie side, and some promoters ain't going to know how to react, and because they relied on him so much over the years, especially on the indie side, to get people in. I've seen it all over the South whenever I was there. I didn't see it so much in Western Tennessee whenever I was living in Memphis, but I did see it, on the east side of Tennessee, because he lives in Bristol. He's still big over there, and it's going to hurt whenever he goes, and it's going to be, it could be enough where I realize some shows 200 people's a big knot, but in some places you're talking 30 people, maybe 30 paying people after he passes away. So the whole wrestling business needs to be getting in shape for that. And I'm telling you right now, when he goes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be enough to almost kill wrestling. And but it just goes to show you, people don't plan ahead in this business. They never have. Some bookers don't even want you to ask them on the indie side what's going on. They just don't. So, it's like one of those deals where if you're not planning on what's going to happen, and then you lose a big part of how you make money, what are you going to do then? I'm telling you, when Ricky Morton passes, pro wrestling's going to die. And it's going to die big. Vince can do whatever, all the shit he wants to do. It ain't going to matter. When Ricky Morton passes, pro wrestling's going to die. So, because there's not enough talent anywhere. And then all the new talent, this is what basically it comes down with the WWE. And WWE's past, NXT basically is a joke. Because basically NXT is where they're getting everybody used to working with the same 5 or 6 people that they're going to work with on Raw and SmackDown. It's a joke. That's what's going on, and that sets the precedence for it to all go down to TNA that way, TNA's that way, Ring of Honor's that way, Lucha Underground's that way. There's not been a traveling champion since Harley Race and Ric Flair. Those are the last of the traveling champions. Where they could go from federation to federation, territory to territory, and carry the load. And and meet a guy that night and wrestling. Now, I'm glad I did that in Tennessee. When I was in Tennessee, I wrestled basically 4 different people over 3 times with the tag match. It was going to be 5 if I could have made it back to Trenton in time. But anyway, what I'm basically getting at, I'm telling you straight up, when Ricky Morton passes, the whole business is going to die. So, you can take that for what it's worth. I'm out.